Hey everyone, welcome back to AGT Time. We've got our buzzers ready for tonight. Cody Patterson here along with.
Along with Jay Bach, we are talking Season 3, Quarterfinals 3. We've got results from Quarterfinals 2 and then the 10 acts performing tonight, which will ultimately be narrowed down to just 5 of these acts. So judges were not impressed with the acts. Like you said, they were buzzer happy, or buzzer grumpy. I'm not sure, one of the two.
Yeah, I mean, they could go trigger happy. Yeah, they could be buzzer happy. I think that flies. This was, spoiler alert, people, this was not a good episode.
No, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Let's put the roll the red carpet out. Right?
Yep.
You're listening to AGT Time. You can reach us at AGT Time Pod on Twitter. Cody's at Cody L. Patterson. I am at One Man Bander. We've got Instagram, Facebook, website. I don't know, all the things. AGT Time Pod is the way to reach out to us. So if you would like to reach out, please do. We are always interested in talking to you guys, knowing what you like, knowing what you don't like, knowing how we can improve.
Yeah, it's been a minute since we talked Season 3. I've been here the whole time, Jay, but you've been gone a few weeks.
Well, yeah, Christmas came.
It's good to have you back.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back, and I've enjoyed taking a couple weeks to clear my brain, to enjoy some family time, and to not have this on my plate. I've got other irons in other fires that are taking other attention. So this is a fun hobby for me. I'm happy to be here doing this, but it was an appreciated break. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Not a problem. You know, AGT Commenter kept me busy for a few weeks. Recorded some rewatchables. We got some stuff planned for the spring, so stay tuned for all that. Go back and listen to our rewatchables and our interviews with Ryan Niemiller. That was a lot of fun. But we're back for Season 3. We'll be back and doing this for a couple weeks, and then we'll Commenter will be back some more. So stick tight. Keep us in your feed. Keep listening. Reach out to us, and we'll be here the whole time. Jay, we got some news. We got a little bit of news during the break. So they announced that AGT Extreme is back to recording whatever it is, prelims, whatever it is they're doing now. They took a break because of the incident with Jonathan Goodwin.
Yes,
I believe.
Yep.
So they've regrouped and they're back to doing that. So we will not get AGT Extreme during January like we thought. So again, stay tuned for all that. There was an announcement as well that Canada's Got Talent is going to be a thing in March. It looks like Howie might be a judge for that. I
wondered if they would have a Canadian personality as a judge on Canada's Got Talent.
It'd only be fitting. It'd only be fitting that if you were like America's Got Talent, you would not have any Canadians on the judges panel.
That's a pretty good point that they would.
So, it's an all-American panel on Canada's Got Talent. That would be that would be fitting for CGT, I guess.
CGT.
Yeah. So if we our Canadian listeners out there, if Canada's Got Talent's coming up, go ahead and watch it. Unfortunately, we won't be covering it. We've kind of got a lot on our plate. But if you want to message us and tell us how Canada's Got Talent's going on, we'll be more than happy to kind of interact with you on that.
Yeah, maybe Cody, this would be an opportunity to bring in another guest and say, hey, you've got something to say about Canada's Got Talent. Like, let's hear it, please.
Yeah, sure. If any of our Canadian listeners want to come on and talk Canada's Got Talent for a little bit, hit us up. We'll be glad to bring you on.
Yeah.
We won't know what's going on, but we'd be more than happy to talk to you about it. Let you have the floor.
Yeah, and here I'm curious what the differences are going to be, and who's doing what and what's interesting. Is the talent strictly Canadian, or is it from around the world like America's Got Talent tends to be? Yeah, curious to know.
Yep, absolutely. So that's kind of all the news that we have right now. So if we are you ready to talk some live shows 3 and
Before we do, I always like to have my podcast review here.
And sorry, I'm out of practice on that, Jay.
Nope, that's okay. I've got one in my pocket. It's a very good podcast. It's very well produced. Is The Way I Heard It. It's Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs fame. Mike Rowe.
I love Mike Rowe.
Yeah, he's got a fantastic voice, and he's got really a very interesting story of his professional career. And the first couple hundred episodes, anyhow, are in the style of Paul Harvey, right?
I love Paul Harvey too.
Yes. Yeah, so Paul Harvey, the rest of the story, and the way that Paul Harvey would tell a story and sort of give you hints as to what the story's about, and then in the end, it's like, and that's the story of George Washington, and now you know the rest of the story, right? Mike Rowe, it's the same thing, right? It's that slow reveal, and he's kind of giving you hints as to who this is, and then at the end, it's, well, anyway, that's the way I heard it, right? It's the same. It's the same format, the same payoff, and he even gets, he talks later on about how he received communication from Paul Harvey Jr., and he was afraid that it was going to be like a cease and desist, but it was like, no, you're like, we love that you're carrying on this legacy, and here's some dollars for your foundation. So
nice.
It's very simpatico that way. So anyhow,
the way I heard it. Are they long or are they real short, kind of like how Paul Harvey did? He's usually about less than 10 minutes, 6-7 minutes?
The first couple hundred are in that 10-minute range, 10, 15-minute range, and they're very, very well written. And then in the last year or so, he's taken kind of a different track with the podcast. I wouldn't say it's not worth listening to, but I would say that it's not that Paul Harvey style.
It's not that same format.
Storytelling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's more long form interviews and talking about the way I heard it, and more bantery than scripted, I guess. But so
that's exciting.
It's a really fun podcast, and it's Mike Rowe, and he's got a fantastic voice, and he's got just a fantastic presence about him. He's a very good writer. He's a very interesting character, very interesting man. So it's worth checking out. The Way I Heard It with Mike Rowe.
Sweet, I love it.
And that's my podcast review. And I will now request, please, come review our podcast while you're out there subscribing to The Way I Heard It with Mike Rowe. And with that, Cody, I am ready to talk about Season 3, Quarterfinals 3.
Sweet. Yes. Let's do it.
So, results from Quarterfinals 2.
I hope our recap is better than some of these performances were.
Ooh. All right. Well, let's see. I feel like we're still remembering how to listen to each other and not talk over each other. So I feel like we're off to a little bit of a rocky start. I think we're going to smooth out here. We're going to find our groove.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're right. Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. So results from quarterfinals 2. We're going to bring up 2 at a time. We're going to get 4 of them that go through, and then the 5 and 6, of course, the judges are going to make that decision for us. So one of the top 4, one of the bottom 4. We've got Paul Salos and Slippery Kittens. Which one did you expect to be in the top 4?
I expected this one was a little tough because I really didn't expect either one of them to be in the top 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and obviously we're not in that stage yet where it's we haven't got Nick yet where it's neither of you.
Yeah.
One of them is going to go through. So between these two, I guess it would have been more Paul Salos than Slippery Kittens.
Yes, and I would lean towards Paul Salos of those two. Slippery Kittens, unfortunately, are going to slide away. And thanks for being on the show. Paul Salos.
They kept. I'm sorry, Jay. I'm talking over you again.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, they kept it classy.
They did. Maybe a touch too classy, or not quite classy enough. One of the two.
Yeah.
All right, so Paul Salos is going to go through. He's the Sinatra impersonator, and does an awfully good job at it. So I'm happy to see him go through. I will enjoy seeing him again. The next two, one of them's going through. We've got Jonathan Ahrens, the trombone player, dancer, classically trained trombone player, and the Wright Kids, who we did not see until last episode, singing Daydream Believer. Who did you think was going to go through here?
I thought it was going to be a blowaway where Jonathan Ahrens went through. We didn't know who the Wright Kids were. This is the first time we'd seen them.
Yeah.
We've seen Jonathan Ahrens 2 other times. He's exciting. He dances. He plays the trombone. I thought it was a shoo-in for him to go through.
Okay. Well, surprise, he's not.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Wow.
It's the Wright Kids singing Daydream Believer.
This was a shock for me. Absolute shock.
Unfortunately, in my preparations for podcasting, I was looking at their fandom wiki page, and they make it through quarterfinals to semifinals. That's interesting. So it really jumped out to me because we hadn't seen a thing about them until this point. So the Wright Kids are going through over Jonathan Ahrens. It was the very first act, I believe, of the seasons to go to the Vegas round.
Jonathan Ahrens?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I have to go back and check on that. But
I think he was the first one the judges
the
voted through. Yeah.
Okay. So if we ever come up with a list of snubs, I think I'm going to put Jonathan Ahrens on that list.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Because it's the Wright Kids, who we don't know anything about. I don't know that he's semifinals quality act.
I really thought he was going to be top 5. I really did. I mean, he might have been 5th, but I thought he would be top 5.
Yeah, he could have been. He could have squeaked his way in.
Yeah, he's going to go up there with Stephen Brundage. I think it's that level snub. He should have gotten through to the semifinal. Now, he may not be finals caliber, but I think he is semifinals caliber.
All right. Well, he's certainly a tier below Unicircle Flow.
Yes, he is. I'd say he's a couple of tiers below Unicircle Flow.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, the next two we have to decide between is Daniel Jens and George the Giant. Daniel Jens is our military guitar-playing hero, and George the Giant is a large man who does weird things. Who did you think was going through?
So the George the Giant performance was not good. It was kids running down, basically hitting him like a piñata. He didn't do his escape artist trick very well. It was not entertaining. It was not well done.
The judges didn't care for it.
I didn't care for it, and I think the audience probably didn't care for it either. Daniel Jens was a little bit better. He's kind of got that military story. He didn't wear his uniform during his performance this time.
Yep, he was wearing his civvies.
Sure he was wearing his civvies. He threw the guitar on his back during the performance, which I liked. I don't think you were a fan of that.
I was not as big of a fan, yeah.
Yeah. So I think between these two, I was sure it was going to be Daniel Jens going through.
Yeah, I would be okay with seeing a variety act instead of the singer.
No,
but we got the singer.
I agreed, but the performance for George the Giant was not good.
Not as good. I'll go with that.
Okay. Okay.
And then we had Casual, our 4 or 5 cousins that sing together up against Queen Emily, our really, royalty, just a pop rock singer. Thoughts about who you thought was going to go through here?
Yeah, I was pretty sure it was going to be Queen Emily. She was the best one of the night.
Yep.
It should have been an easy vote for everyone to put through Queen Emily versus Casual.
Yep, I agree with that. And Queen Emily is the one who goes through. So we've got Paul Salos, the Wright Kids, Daniel Jens, Queen Emily, and taking that 5th spot, then the judges have to decide between Beyond Belief Dance Company, version 1, version season 3, and the Superstars, who are entertainers that wear inflatable outfits.
Jay, the Superstars should not have even been in the fifth and sixth place.
I agree. I don't envy the judges having to choose between these two because it means that they have to like one of them. Like, I don't know. I guess I'll take one of them. Like, I would have a hard time. I'd have a hard time. Like, Jay, I'm going to make you go to a performance. Would you like to see Beyond Belief Dance Company for an hour and a half or the Superstars for an hour and a half? Like, I have to pick one?
Yeah, so the judges were doing that whole, oh, I can't believe you're doing this to me. We have to pick one of these? Like it was like we're picking between two great acts. You know, they always do that thing of like, but this was, no, we got to pick between two not very good acts.
I have to pick one of these?
Yeah, we have to put one through?
Yeah. So Pierce is going to hem and haw, and he'll end up picking Beyond Belief Dance Company. I think he calls them BBDC.
BBDC, yeah. Yep.
Abbreviation.
Yep.
Sharon says, every show needs silliness. So the Superstars.
Does it?
And then David, with regret, that he has to vote out Beyond Belief Dance Company. Not with regret that he has to vote them through, but he's going to vote through the Superstars. Superstars get 2 out of 3. Superstars make it through to the semis.
So was this more of a, I'm not voting one to go through, I'm voting for one to go home?
Yeah. I mean, if you put it that way, like, I would... Yeah, you know what? That's an easier decision for me, right?
Yeah.
You're not picking one to go through. You're picking one to go home. Okay, send the Superstars home. I'll see Beyond Belief Dance Company again.
Yes.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, I think that's the way we should spin it. It's like, which one do we want to send home?
Okay, so that rounds out our top 5. Superstars, Queen Emily, Daniel Jens, The Right Kids, Paul Salos. I'm okay with this on the whole.
On the whole, I would rather have Jonathan Aarons over the Superstars.
Easily, yeah.
Jay, this results took so long. It took
yes.
so long. When it finished, I looked at the time code. We were 17 minutes into the show when we finished doing the result. Now, I know we were doing a lot of recap from the night before, that type of stuff, but 17 minutes into the show before we were done with the results.
Yeah, I guess they didn't have like a mentalist or something that was performing this time that they had to find some space for. They just left it for the recap.
Yeah, you know how much performance time that eats into?
It's a lot.
I mean, it's a lot. It's at least a minute and a half per performance.
Yeah. It adds up. Some of these I'm not sure that I wanted to see for another minute and a half, though.
Rim shot. Where's my rim shot?
Yeah. Get your soundboard back out, man.
Where's my rim shot? Let's see.
Some of these acts, I'm not sure I wanted to see for another minute and a half. Some of these acts.
Come on.
Well, this is good podcasting, folks.
Yeah, it's great podcasting. Why is it not doing it? Let's see. Oh, man, this is terrible. We got some editing to do here.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, well. We missed it.
All right. Moving on.
It'll like play while we're like talking about something serious here in a moment.
But I'm ching. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to start the night off with the Texas State Strutters. They're a dance team from Texas. They call themselves a precision dance team. I would say, generally, watching their performance, they were in sync. They did their high kicks.
Yep.
They ended their routine doing the thing where they all fall into the splits at the same time.
Yep.
It was fine. It was... what they do, they did pretty well.
Yep, they hit all of the high kicker cliches.
Yes. And if you like that, this was that.
Yes. Now they told us that in their intro, Jay. They said the secret to their act is that they dance the same and move the same.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
It's about precision and being in sync.
Yeah. Yes.
And I would say generally they were pretty precise and in sync. It was
agreed. Yes.
It wasn't bad for what they do. It was just kind of boring at the
yeah.
at the end of it. And that's what Pierce said. He said, Pierce, the problem is it was boring. With all the cheesy grins and all the leg movements, you could be synchronized swimmers.
Yeah, but even synchronized swimmers, it's pretty entertaining. And what they did in this last Olympics is they actually put a camera that split the underwater and the above water, which I thought was a great angle.
Yeah.
So you could see what they're doing underneath as well as what the feet are doing above water.
I didn't watch a lot of synchronized swimming. I watched enough to appreciate it. And like the stuff that they do is really mind-boggling. And the amount of time that they hold their breath and the amount of like effort, the amount of work that they put in while they're holding their breath, it really is fantastic. And I would tune into synchronized swimming before I tuned into the Texas State Strutters.
Yeah. Now, weren't you big on the Texas State Strutters before?
I might have been higher on them.
Okay.
This was fine. They got X's from all three of the judges.
All three judges, yes. Which I don't remember the last time I saw that in a live show.
In the lives, yeah. I mean, that's not saying much for them. So 3 X's for the Texas State Strutters. Pierce called them boring. Sharon said, how can you sustain a show doing what you do? It's not professional enough. And Hoff said, you're beautiful. You did a great job. You worked hard. You did your best.
This is the same Sharon that just voted through the Superstars.
Yeah. How are they going to sustain that for an hour and a half, huh?
Just dancing around, bobbing up and down for 90 minutes.
Yeah. So Texas State Strutters, it's going to be a hill to climb if they're going to make it through to the next round with 3 X's.
Yeah.
Not impossible, but not looking good.
It can happen. Yeah, in the live shows, it can happen.
It can, yes.
Yeah.
In the auditions, if you got 3 X's, like your music stops and like you're done, you're off the stage.
You're done. That's right.
Here they got the 3 X's and they did let them finish their performance. Is that the right choice?
Yeah, I think it's the right choice.
I agree.
Yeah, it's a live show. They got to fill the time. If you cut them off early, then you got to figure something out.
Yeah. All right. So Texas State Strutters, that's the opening act for the night. Not a great start. We're going to move on to our second act of the night. We got Michael Strello Smith. He's our big boy singer. He was on season 2. He's back for season 3. Surprise! He made it through the Vegas round. We didn't see him audition or anything, but here we are. He's going to sing a song called "I Am What I Am." You might be familiar with this song if you're familiar with a musical called La Cage aux Folles.
Not familiar with that at all.
Oh, we talked about it. Hoff brought it up last time when.
Okay.
Who was the cross-dresser that he brought it up? Like, America is ready for you because La Cage aux Folles, which is the musical, which is what Birdcage is based on. That old movie. So this is I Am What I Am is a song introduced in the Broadway musical La Cage aux Folles. It's the finale number of the musical's first act, or the final number. So
when I looked it up, it came up as a Gloria Gaynor song. Is that right?
She probably did a version of it.
Okay.
So it's a Broadway song, right? And he sings it.
Oh, it is. Okay.
He sings it full Broadway, and I don't think the judges really knew what they were in for with this one.
Okay. He's a show tunes guy.
I mean, show tunes or opera or
Yeah.
pop. Like, I'm not sure exactly what he is, and maybe that's the problem with Michael Strello Smith is he doesn't really have a lane.
Okay.
He's just a pretty good singer.
Pretty
And
good.
if he could pick a lane, he might, like, all right, Michael Strello Smith is coming out. We're going to get a Broadway song, right? We're going to get a show tune number. We're going to get a, some Broadway musical number. And if we expected that, and then he came out with What I Am, What I Am, it'd be like, yep, he definitely nailed a show tunes number. But he came out, and they were expecting, I think, something a little more operatic from him, and it didn't feel great in comparison. It felt like a show tune.
Right, and when he auditioned in season 2, he's saying "This is the moment," which is probably a show tune as well, right?
Probably, yeah. So yeah, La Cage aux Folles, I think it was referenced by Hoff when he was talking with Derek
It's
Barry.
ringing a bell. Yep.
Boy,
Okay.
Boy Brittany Part 2.
Well, Boy Brittany, the difference was Boy Brittany, I think, actually sang the songs.
Did he?
Am I wrong about that?
I don't think he did. I think he just
Okay.
danced and enjoyed
Okay.
dancing.
Okay.
All right. So anyhow, Michael Strello Smith, he gives us real Zane and Stephanie vibes from our auditions. They were the married couple that dressed in yellow and were shiny, happy people. Like it felt like music teachers singing music. This felt like a music teacher singing music.
Yeah. You should be familiar with this, Jay.
Turns out I'm a music teacher now, so it's the joys of being a substitute teacher. You never really know what you're going to be into. So that's why I try to avoid singing. I sound what do I want to say? I don't know that kids would be excited to hear me actually sing.
Yeah.
So he's going to get X's from both Pierce and Sharon. Pierce says everything is very tough in this part of the competition. I looked at everything about you, and all of it screamed karaoke to me. And then Michael, maybe ill-advisedly, shoots back at him, responds back to him, says, "My family and my friends and my mother and my students are over there, and I'm proud of how I present myself, and I'm sorry you cannot see what's inside that drives me." And it just never comes off well when you fight with the judges, I think.
Right. Yep.
You don't want to get chippy with them.
We saw that a lot with David and Danya.
Yeah, Sharon said it's not good to answer back. Shush, 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 shush. Michael, darling, good performance, great determination, but to her it screams music teacher. So it's screaming karaoke to Pierce, music teacher to Sharon. And Michael says, "It's a very admirable thing to do, Mrs. Osborne, to be a music teacher." And again, like getting chippy with him. And Pierce says, "Why don't you do that then?" It's like, whoops, maybe. Maybe not the best comeback, given the circumstances. And then Hoff says, "What I like about you is you never give up. What I like is you say, 'I am what I am,' and you don't apologize. You came out here and you did a damn good job." So, I guess Hoff wanted to praise him a little bit. It felt like some pretty empty praise at that point.
Yeah, he was just pandering to him, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Michael Strello Smith, we're 2 acts in. We've got 5 buzzers already.
We normally don't get 3 buzzers in a show, and
No.
we've got 5 in 2 acts. So.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to Bruce Block, our magician comedian.
One of my
Danger
favorites
Act.
of the season. One of my favorites.
Yeah, has been up to this point anyhow.
Yeah. So this is now 2 in a row that we're in season 2, and then are back for season 3.
Good point. Yes.
Okay.
So Bruce Block's going to come on stage. He's going to enter the stage with a number of, I believe they prefer to be called little people.
Little people. Yeah, I thought they were kids. Like when it was at a wide shot, I actually thought it was a bunch of kids, and I started writing in my notes just like George the Giant. We have a bunch of kids on the stage, and then they zoomed in. I'm like, oh, they're little people. Okay,
no, little people. So he is going to explain what's going to happen, and we're going to not saw a woman in half. We're going to saw a horse in half, and he shows us inside the box, and you can see all the way through the box. And as he's explaining it, we get to see a horse costume come on stage. It's two people in a horse costume, and like they're not even connected. And they enter the stage. They go into this box that they showed us was empty, and then he opens the box, and what's inside? Not two people in a horse costume, sawed in half. It's an actual miniature horse and a fairly large man who's dressed as a jockey. Like, it's a funny visual.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it on the whole.
No, it felt rushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of that may have been the 17 minutes it took to get through results.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He could have used another minute and a half. Or, if he did a couple of tricks in this amount of time,
yes.
I feel like there could be some more story there. There could be something.
Some sort of warm-up to it. A build-up to it. Yep.
But this, it didn't land great with the judges. Pierce buzzed him. So we're 3 acts in. We're up to 6 buzzers now.
This is comedy in itself, Jay. we're at 3 acts in. We have 6 buzzers.
Yeah.
In a live show, not in auditions.
In a live show. Yeah.
Yes.
So what did you think of the actual trick, right? We see 2 people go in dressed as a horse, and then bada boom, bada bing, we have a large man and a horse inside the box.
Yeah, Pierce said it was the oldest trick in the book, and I thought it was kind of the reverse of that, because we do see tricks where they saw a woman in half, but I thought Bruce Block he brings comedy to his magic. So he's not just a magician. He adds comedy in. He was trying to add comedy as well by having 2 people in a horse costume and a bunch of little people that were, I guess, maybe like a sideshow or a circus atmosphere. Yeah, that's what he was going for there. And so then he takes the 2 people in a horse costume, takes it in, and then does a reverse and makes a small horse, miniature horse, appear whole. So I thought it was a fine trick. It was fun, but he's kind of like Piff, where it's not about the magic. It's about the entertainment, and the magic is just part of it. But I think this one fell flat because it felt rushed as well. He needed that minute and a half, like he said, in order to build up to it. So I like Bruce Block. I think the tricks that he's done, well, in season 2, he had the issue where his assistant didn't show up, so he had to change on the fly. But the tricks that he's done, I've enjoyed.
We've seen a lot of variety from Bruce Block.
Yes.
He did the sawing a person in half trick, where the person then walked around on their hands. He did the talking bunny trick, which was like an animal training act.
And that was hysterical. I loved that.
Very good. Yes. He did the bed of nails with the tap dancer tapping on top of him act. He did the pull a rabbi out of a hat, which was what got him eliminated last season. And we've got this act, which was more on the magic side, but he's got such a range. We've seen a lot of different things from Bruce Block.
Yes, yeah. He's a variety in himself. So you say we get variety acts. Well, he's variety within his own show.
Yeah, yeah. And he works with I'd say these differently abled people, right? He's got the little people and the man without the bottom half, and all these different characters that are a part of his show. Like it's an interesting thing that he does. So
Yeah.
Pierce says, I feel like you let America's magicians down tonight. You did the oldest trick in the book, and you blew it spectacularly. Sharon said, can you go? If you go, can the horse stay, please? That's all she had to say. And Hoff said, tonight was confusing. There were too many people, and it just didn't come together tonight. So even Hoff had trouble finding the praise for him.
Yep.
Okay. All right. We'll move on.
Sorry, that's all I got. Sorry, while you were talking, I was really quick looking to see what Bruce Block is up to these days.
Oh yeah.
There's a website, but there's not a whole lot on it. It's more like booking him for. It says seminars. Looks like he's maybe written some books. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of what's going on with Bruce Block these days.
Okay. Well,
so
Bruce
I was
Block,
hoping
if you're
he
out
was still
there, we would, you're welcome to come on our show. We'd love to hear from you. Even if Pierce isn't a fan, Cody is.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Sorry, a little biography on Bruce Block. So he's gone on to be a consultant for films such as Stuart Little, As Good as It Gets, and Spanglish. As a film producer, Block has produced and co-produced the films Father of the Bride, Father of the Bride 2, Disney's The Parent Trap, What Women Want, Something's Gotta Give, and The Holiday. Those are all great movies.
Wow. Yeah. So he's still got that entertainer in him.
Yeah.
Huh.
In 2007, Block was featured in an on-camera interview discussing visual style for the 40th anniversary DVD release of The Graduate. Block's audio commentary as a film historian is also featured in the 2008 collector's edition DVD of the classic 1960 film, The Apartment. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
We've just seen the tip of the iceberg. That is Bruce Block.
Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on. Fourth act of the night, we get Shakita. This is our male dressed in drag singing opera. His first time he sang, he used his whole range, right? Both his male register and his female register. This time he's going to come out and he's going to sing I Will Survive, Gloria Gaynor, as previously mentioned. But Shakita is going to do this all in that high falsetto register with tons of vibrato. She's going to get a buzz. So we are up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buzzes with 4 acts.
Jay's on buzz count tonight.
Well, I need a paper and pencil to keep track of this. So she gets a 7th buzz. This one's going to be from Pierce again. I did not enjoy this performance. So, I'm not sorry that Pierce buzzed Shakita. What'd you think of it?
I did not like it. I thought the high soprano falsetto was screechy. It almost it didn't even sound like I Will Survive. I didn't even recognize it until she got to the chorus of I Will Survive. There was no range. It was just all high. No dynamics.
Shakita's range is what the talent is.
Correct. Yes.
And we didn't see the range. We just saw the top end of it.
Correct. Yes. So we needed to kind of hear that range, but don't just go high then low. Let's hear a lot of that middle as well. So yeah, this was not good. She will not survive.
Boom ching. So,
there it is. Let's see. Is it going to work? It's not going to work.
It's all good. Pierce said
now it works. Now it worked, but I
didn't hear it. No.
Okay, so let's see. Hold on. So she will not survive. Wow.
The more we try, the better it gets.
Yes.
So Pierce says, that was a very high-pitched noise coming out of you tonight. Sharon said, you look stunning. The song was very high. Hoff said, you know what? The first time I saw you, you did opera as a man and a woman. But tonight, you didn't show me the talent that you're capable of. So,
no.
the judges basically repeat everything that we said. So, we're good.
Yes. They repeated what we said, yes.
All right, let's move on then to the Tobble family. This is the family orchestra. We've got cellos and violins and violas and maybe a harp. It's a family band. In their video, the mom says, "When other kids were outside playing in the yard, my kids were inside working hard."
I don't know if that's something to brag about.
Sorry, letting my kids be kids.
That's right.
Look down your nose at me. So going into this, I was fully prepared to write them off. Like,
Yes.
I didn't really enjoy their first performance, The Sound of Music. This time, they're going to do a song that's really going to surprise America, and they're going to do an orchestral rendition of Rihanna's "Umbrella," Ella, Ella, Ella.
I did not know this song.
I've heard it. I don't like it by Rihanna. I don't.
You don't like the Rihanna version?
I don't like the Rihanna version. I was so very prepared, like I said, to hate this version. Right? It's not only a Rihanna song that I don't care for. It's the Tobble family, which I didn't care for. But I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I didn't hate it, but I'm not gonna say I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well,
but I did like the variety with the strings and all the different instruments.
After 7 buzzes, this kind of felt like a breath of fresh air.
That is true. Yes. I liked the boys. Their harmonies were really good.
Yeah.
When they sang individually, it wasn't very good. But when they sang together, their harmonies were really good.
A thing that this performance had going for it, it was short, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Say thanks to the 17 minutes of results, because a whole lot more of this, I'm not sure that I would have really cared for it. But it was nice and short and compact, and they came in, they did it, they took a bow. Like, it worked. It worked.
Yeah. Jay, why was it so dark?
I don't know. You're the production guy.
I guess I am the production. It was dark. Like, they were wearing blue outfits, and the lighting guy had the lights turned down. I couldn't see anything. Maybe that's what they were going for. They just wanted you to just sit back and just listen, because it was dark. The spotlights guy went and took a coffee break.
Yeah, maybe that was it. It was union. Blame the union.
That's right. After 7 buzzes, they have to go take a break, right?
Yeah. Jeez, the lighting guy, he's got to flip all those light switches back off. Jeez, like, I can't be running a spotlight after all these light switches I got to flip. Pierce said that performance worked. I loved the look and I loved the song choice. Sharon said it was grim until you came on. You're also talented, and Dad played the bongos tonight. If you recall, Dad kind of like floated along in the background in their auditions performance. So he.
I didn't know he played the bongos. I couldn't see anything.
I didn't see that either.
Yeah.
Hoff said, I thought I preferred you singing The Sound of Music, but tonight, I think you proved me wrong. So all the judges preferred this performance over The Sound of Music.
Yeah, they shouldn't be singing Sound of Music.
Okay, so not a terrible performance. I'm feeling good about your chances being in the the first act of the night to not get buzzed.
Yeah, you're now at least in the top 6.
Yeah, which puts you in at least the judge's choice.
Judge's choice, that's right.
All right, let's move on. Next act of the night, then. We've got Jonathan Birkin. He's our baton twirler. Before he even enters the stage, Cody, you know what I saw?
What'd you
Fire.
see? There you go.
I saw fire, and I thought, Cody's going to like this.
So I'm going to throw a twist at you here, Jay.
Uh-oh.
didn't really watch this performance.
Oh no! What were you doing?
I don't know. But,
you can't listen to it?
No, you can't listen to it. I'm like, oh, baton twirling, and then I totally tuned out.
Huh. All right, you'll have that.
I have Jonathan Birkin written in my notes, and then I have Sarah Lenore.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about his performance. He's
Okay.
gonna come on. He's got his batons. If you think of Jonathan Birkin as a juggler instead of a baton twirler,
Okay.
maybe that makes it a little more accessible, a little more cool, right? Some people use balls, some people use chainsaws, some people use bowling pins. He uses batons, right?
Yes.
Flaming batons. He does the thing where he's got the baton spinning like around his neck while he spins his own body underneath it. It's a cool move. I like this.
Yeah.
I like the whole thing
Yeah.
well enough. No buzzes.
Nope.
So
The buzzer guy got to take a break.
we're still 7 buzzes for 6 acts. Pierce says, one word, incredible. What I love about you is that you never make mistakes ever. Every time you come back faster, better, more dangerous, you could win.
Yeah, that needs to go on the scale. I need to add that
Well.
one to the judge's comment scale.
Yep. Sharon said, you never missed a beat. Sensational. Hoff said, that show could sustain in Vegas. As far as I'm concerned, you're the best baton twirler in the world. And as far as I'm concerned, he is not.
He's good. He is good. He may not be the best in the world, but
No
he
way
is good.
he's the best in the world. Not a
No,
chance.
I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you. But what I'm saying is he's still good.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
I disagree with Hoff. Well, I can't say
And I agree with you.
he. Okay. Hoff tempers his comment, right? He says, as far as I'm concerned, you're the best baton twirler in the world. Not, as far as America is concerned, or as far as anybody with any sense is concerned, as far as Hoff himself is concerned, Jonathan Birkin is the best baton twirler in the world.
Yeah.
I've seen more tricks, better tricks, bigger tricks from other baton twirlers, and I don't even go out searching for baton twirlers, so that's that. Okay, there we go. That's Jonathan Birkin. Let's move on to our 7th act of the night, Sarah Lenore. You'll remember her as the pretty blonde girl who sings and plays guitar.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah. Oh, there's
Yes.
others.
And well,
They
yeah,
all kind of melded into one in my mind. I'm sorry.
Well, and Sharon even made the comment in her intro. She has to stand out from all the other blonde singer guitar players.
Have I been beating that drum at all? I don't know.
Yeah.
She's gonna.
I'm like Sharon's been listening to the podcast.
She
That's
must
what
have
Jake's
been.
saying. Yeah.
No, she's gonna sing the song "Not Ready to Make Nice" by the Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks. Who, what would be like? Is it like past perfect sense, like who were being known as the Dixie Chicks?
That reminds me of a Big Bang Theory episode where they were talking about Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, all right.
Yeah, and so they, it's like something happened in the past, but it really happened in the future, and so they were like, has been, not in all that past perfect
Yes.
future
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
Future perfect. Future past perfect.
Yes.
No, that's funny. I bet that was fun to write. Okay, so she's going to come on the stage. She's got the guitar slung behind her back. She's not going to start playing the guitar. She's singing for us. She's got her guitar capo clear up on the 6th fret.
Can you help some of us understand what that means?
Okay, so the capo, like, if your song is in G sharp or you want to sing it in G sharp, but you don't know how to play in G sharp, you just play in G and you move the little thing up on the first capo, so the whole guitar is just a little bit higher, a half step higher, right?
Okay.
It's not uncommon to play with the capo on, first, second, third, maybe fourth fret. But you get up above that, it's like you can certainly play this song in a different key on one of those first four frets. But she goes clear up to the sixth, like she's moving it up 3 whole steps from whatever key she's playing it in. So if she, I don't know, it's just really weird to see a guitar capoed that much. It's almost like playing a ukulele at that point.
So if if the song is in, say, C, so but she's playing in A, then that's kind of what that would mean. Am I saying that right? Or do I have it backwards?
If
is it 3 steps? Is that what the capo does?
Each fret that you put the capo on is a half step.
Is a half step. Okay.
Right.
So she was a step and a half. She was a step and a half up.
She moved 6 half steps or 3 whole steps up.
3 whole steps. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Yep.
So yeah, it's like she wanted to sing it in the key of D, but she only knew how to play in the key of G, so she just played it in G on the 6th fret.
Okay, it's making sense now.
So anyhow, it felt weird. It looked weird to me. Like what that said to me was, you're not a very good guitar player. You're not a very good musician.
Okay.
Because you've got the capo clear up there. An argument could be made, or you could say, but maybe that's the sound she was going for. She wants high guitar notes. She wants it to kind of sound like a ukulele. And if that's the case, if that's an artistic choice, fine. I can't fault that. But it looked weird.
Okay. I mean, if you're going to play it like that, just play the ukulele, right?
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So she sings "Not Ready to Make Nice." I'm going to guess that this is not, even though it's a country song, even though it's right in your wheelhouse for the age it is. I'm going to guess it is not on the Cody Patterson playlist.
Yeah. So I'm going to say it, a Dixie Chicks listener. I'm an OG Dixie Chicks listener, so I listened to their stuff, their early stuff.
Okay.
I haven't listened to their later stuff. So
when they were being known as the Dixie Chicks, right?
Right. And in 2008, they were known as the Dixie Chicks as well. But I'm saying I was more even earlier than that. So I was like late 90s.
Yeah.
Dixie Chicks. Wide Open Spaces and those types of songs.
Yeah, I remember that era.
Yep. So that's more my Dixie Chick era. So no, I'm not familiar with this song.
Okay. I just watched Sarah Lenore sing it this week, and I still don't feel familiar with the song. I don't think it was a very good song choice. I'm not a big country music fan, and the song for me, it wasn't interesting. It wasn't memorable. It was just fine. I didn't notice any mistakes. I just don't remember it. It was just noise. Just fine noise. So,
yeah.
Not Ready to Make Nice. I don't even I don't know what the message of the song is. I don't know what the tune of the song is. I don't know. I assume that part of the chorus is not ready to make nice. But it just felt like nothing. It was just a thing that happened.
Yeah, this is, I'm not going to say this is the era, but girls like to be sassy. They want to have this, attitude type thing. So, maybe playing on that.
Yeah, if it had been more boring, I could have been this kind of reminds me of Zayn and Stephanie, right? But
it was you're so middle of the road that it didn't even impact you.
It wasn't even boring enough to be interesting. It was just just the wrong amount of everything.
Okay, so I've got some Sarah Lenore trivia for you.
Oh boy.
Okay.
You've come to the right place if you want.
Yeah. Okay. So she is active on Twitter.
Okay.
She's currently active on Twitter. She lists on Twitter international pop artist.
Interesting.
Okay, singer, songwriter, actress.
Actress.
Actress, yes. She has a new single. Everybody wants to rule the world.
Everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody.
But does that? Yeah, but is she covering that song? Everybody wants to rule the world.
Is it? Does it say it's an original? Or
it does. It does not say. It does not say that. It just says a new single. Yeah. She's also a beauty blogger.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. And over or under 6,000 followers.
Ooh. I feel like there's a thing for like people who do makeup on YouTube, right? Or there's like that's a thing. Yep. And if she's going to include it in her credentials, I feel like you have to have at least some kind of following. So I will say over 6,000.
Yes, you are correct, but not by much. 6,439 followers.
Okay.
Okay, including us now.
Yay!
Including Christian Stoinev and Eli Matson.
Hey, look at that. No, like Sarah Lenore, she's not ugly, right? Like she can make, a beauty blogger, a fashionista, a singer songwriter. Like there's a place for this.
Yep.
I just didn't. This song tonight didn't do anything for me.
Yep.
Less than nothing.
So she did not take Sharon's advice and stand out from all the other blonde singer guitar players.
Not at all.
Okay.
But fortunately for her, this might be the night to not stand out and be just fine.
Be just average, yes.
Pierce said, you looked nervous when you came out, but you kicked it in. The whole audience came with you, and it was stunning. Sharon said, you have an amazing, strong voice. Sometimes you shout instead of sing the melody. Hoff said, you did a great job, and I bet you're in the top 10.
Okay.
I think he said, if I were a betting man, and I am, I'd bet you're in the top 10, if I recall how that went. But
yeah.
All right, let's move on to 8th act of the night, Six Step Dance Crew. These guys are way cooler than the Texas State Strutters
yes.
and Beyond Belief Dance Company.
Okay.
Doesn't necessarily mean that they're better. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're more entertaining. They're just cooler. And if I were going to rank those three, well, let's rank them in a minute. All right.
Yeah.
So
let's get through the performance.
They do like some basketball moves. They do a lot of synchronized dancing. I don't feel like it was any real wow moments. I usually try to make a point of those. I did feel like it was generally more interesting, than a lot of the other dance troupes we see.
Okay.
But not necessarily a great dance troupe. What did you think of Six Step?
So I was confused a little bit. It seemed generic to me. It seemed that Pierce was worried that they would be just like any other street dance crew. I think you mentioned that during their intro.
Uh-huh.
They was hoping they weren't another street dance crew, and it felt like that. I know the judges disagreed. The judges really liked it, but I was confused through a lot of the performance, and I think the camera shots may have had a lot to do with that. Yes. The other thing that confused me is I thought the group was much smaller, like it was only 5 or 6 guys, but there was a dozen guys at least on the stage.
Yeah, I think their name Sick Step kind of sound like Six Step, and you're like, oh yeah, definitely expect to see 6 guys.
6 guys, yes. And so I was also focusing on the guys that were wearing the basketball jerseys.
Yeah.
And there were some guys wearing other types of clothes, and there were some guys in the background. And I'm like, I couldn't tell the difference really between them, and I thought the others were just like background dancers.
Yeah, maybe
dancers.
there was supposed to be some story to it that we missed.
Yeah.
Probably because the camera guys were all over the place, not really showing us the performance much.
Right. So that's what kind of lost me on this performance is I couldn't tell the difference between the main guys, and I thought they were backup dancers, but the backup dancers were also part of the crew, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I was just confused through most of the performance, and I thought it was generic.
Now I'm going to ask you to rank Beyond
Okay.
Belief Dance Company, the Texas State Strutters, and Six Step.
So I would still rank probably Six Step number 1. I would probably put Beyond Belief number 2 and the Strutters number 3.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to love the High Kickers a little bit more than that.
It felt way more generic too, and I haven't been high on the High Kickers. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. It's not going to work. I don't know what's going on, but it's not working. But like, okay, so when I go into my preview setting, now I hear it. I just literally heard it myself.
Oh,
but then I
my.
go into live so you can hear it. Nothing.
All right.
Yeah, nothing.
Maybe I
don't
need
know
to
what's going on.
bring in an actual snare drum and cymbal.
Yeah,
to-
yeah. So I haven't been high on the Strutters since the beginning. I don't think they should be here. They're a college dance crew, and I don't think they really should be competing anyway. They're a mid-tier college dance crew. So they're not even like a high-level dance crew. And so that automatically knocks them down for me anyway. They are good dancers. They're probably very nice girls. I'm sure they're nice girls. But as far as being in this competition, I just don't think they belong in this competition.
Okay.
Six Step's better, but this performance still, and I've said it, feels generic.
Feels generic. Yeah.
Yeah.
A case could be made for any of them to be your number 1 or number 2 or number 3. You know,
Yeah.
the case for Texas State Strutters is like it's a style of dance that's not something you see, so it gets your attention, right?
Yeah.
Your case for Beyond Belief is that they are probably the cleanest of the 3, probably the most polished and the most
Polished. Mm-hmm.
most professional of the 3.
Yeah, and this version of Beyond Belief, not season 16 version of Beyond Belief.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
And your case for Six Step is like these guys are cooler, right?
Yeah, and I feel they have more to offer for a larger show.
Yeah.
I feel they can do more. They can bring in some other things. Whereas, and Sharon pointed it out for the Strutters, all they have is their high kick routine, and it's a 90-second, 2-minute, 3-minute kick routine. They're not the Rockettes.
No.
So yeah.
And we can bring it up here. Like, I'm kind of tired of, like, sometimes they're all about, is this a Vegas show? I don't think it's a Vegas show. I'm going to have to buzz you. And other times, like, we're not really worried about, are you a Vegas show? Did I enjoy it? And
Right. Do we need Goofy? So we're going to put the Superstars through.
Yeah. Whatever. And so I really feel like of all the measuring sticks that the judges use, the is this a Vegas show is the most bogus one.
Okay.
Among the most bogus. I'd have to make
Yeah.
a list of all the different ways that they, choose. But
Yeah.
like, is this a Vegas show? No. Like, almost none of these acts are Vegas shows. There's
Okay.
There's so few that are are going to sustain 90 minutes on the stage alone. Like, it just doesn't. That's not what the show I think is supposed to be. But we're in this post Terry Fader $100 million signing, Vegas show, got his own theater thing, and like they really want to pound away at the Vegas show, and I don't think that that's a really appropriate yardstick.
Yeah, I can see where you're going, because if you look at the winners, just the winners of AGT, only a handful have done a Vegas show. Piff and Piff wasn't even a winner, but Terry,
Right.
Matt Franco, Piff, who was a finalist, he's got a show. I think what we're doing now with the Clairvoyance and Preacher and all of that's probably the closest to what we've really seen, what AGT had envisioned for a Vegas show.
Yeah.
And
But,
it's a collaboration. There's a ton of them doing it.
Season
for one
15,
show.
we had
Yeah.
Brandon Leak. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a Vegas show.
Yeah.
It's great, but it's not
Yeah.
a Vegas show. So, I don't know. Okay, Pierce said, who choreographed that? And they said, we did as a group. And he said, good job tonight. You went away, you returned, you took the stage, you proved you're more than street entertainers. Sharon said, you owned the stage, the whole thing was fun. Hoff said, you guys are sick. Bring the attitude if you get voted back. So, Six Step is sick.
Way to plug that in there, Hoff.
Yeah, it's like that's the Howie Mandel thing, right? Like you say their name or you repeat what they did or do what they did in your response to them. Like that's,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little bit cheap comedy, but it's all right. Okay, next we've got Matthew Piazzi, comedic impressionist. He's going to do a few different voices, not necessarily great. We got Arnold Schwarzenegger, Vince Vaughn, George Clooney,
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. Yep. He's going to have a conversation with himself with all these different characters. Going to end up at the piano singing Great Balls of Fire. And he's going to throw in like some George Clooney here and some Arnold Schwarzenegger there. And the other characters, I'm sure, along the way. Like, what he intended to do with this performance, I think, is fantastic. A 12 out of 10. Like, 5 stars. It's such a really great idea. I think his execution was good enough. It's a
Okay.
3.5 out of 5 stars, right? Like it's
Which, again, tonight is really good.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, this idea of multiple impressions singing a song together, like keeping those all straight in your head, doing all the voices, being able to switch that quickly, it's incredibly difficult.
Yep.
And he wasn't bad at it. Pierce buzzed him.
Yeah. Well, okay. So this is a guy that we only saw as a montage, right?
Right.
Yes. So this is the first exposure we've had to his impressionists. And I've always said that if you have to say the name of who you're doing the impression of, it's not a very good impression. And so he did mention Arnold. He did mention Vince Vaughn. But he did it kind of in a third person.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't go, "Hey, I'm Vince Vaughn," and da 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 da. Or
Right.
he'd say, "Hey, Vince, what do you?" Or as Arnold voices, he'd say, "Hey, Vince, what do you think?" And
Right,
"Hey,
right,
Arnold, I think this." So, he kind of did it in that manner. It took me some time to figure out Jack Nicholson, but obviously the sunglasses should give it away. I didn't even pick up on the Vince Vaughn stuff. Or I'm sorry, I didn't pick up on the George Clooney stuff. The Great Balls of Fire thing, I actually enjoyed. I thought it was good that he kind of threw him around. He's a pretty good piano player. I thought he was a pretty good piano player and singer. It was
Rock and
entertaining.
roll boogie woogie piano. Yep.
Sure. He didn't suck at it. So I enjoyed it. The fact that Pierce said, "Hey, we haven't seen you do piano or singing before." I don't think that really should mean anything.
I agree.
I think in fact, I think it adds to it that as long as you don't totally go off what your act is supposed to be. If you're a
If you're a Russian bar
act,
trio.
I was going to try to say if you're an act that bounces on a bar, and then all of a sudden you go to playing a piano, that's completely different. but his act is an entertainment type act that does voices, and he just introduced singing and piano playing into the act.
Right.
I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah, I agree. Pierce, you kind of alluded to it. Pierce buzzed him. He said, "I think you blew it big time because we put you through as an impersonator, and then you went to the piano, and the audience just went dead. The material was bad." Sharon said,
"I disagree. I disagree on that.
I think that the material could be better.
Yep,
I don't think that going to the piano was the wrong choice. I agree with you there."
correct. Yep.
Sharon said, "Great impersonations. I love what you do, but you have to work on the writing." David said, "I don't know what they were watching. I thought you did great." So I'm generally more in the David camp myself.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm a little disappointed that Pierce buzzed him. I don't think that it was buzzworthy.
Yep. Yeah, we're on the last one, but 5 of these 6 are going to get through on default.
Yeah. Or
So-
4 of the 5, yeah. 4 of the 5 are going to get voted through.
Get voted through, and then one's got to get picked
Another
from
one,
by the
yeah,
judges. Yeah.
So there's Matthew Piazzi. We've got, is that the 9th buzz? Or the 8th?
I think it's the 8th.
8th buzz. 9th act,
Yeah.
8th buzz. Okay. So we've finally gotten more acts than buzzes.
Yeah. Our ratio of act to buzz is now higher on the act side.
Okay. I guess we were before that particular act. Doesn't matter. We got another buzz on the night. And we're going to move into our 10th act of the night then. We've got our Elvis impersonator, Joseph Hall from Lincoln, Nebraska. He's going to sing the song Jailhouse Rock. They go Wizard of Oz on us, where they start with black and white on the TV screens, anyhow.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure it wasn't black and white there in the studio.
I don't know how they would do that. So the first verse and chorus is black and white, and then we land in Oz, and they give us the color. I thought it was overall pretty entertaining. Maybe, boy, I should have fleshed these thoughts out a little bit more. Maybe a little bit flat in how it ended up coming across. It's kind of that tapping dance syndrome, right? Like an amateur Elvis impersonator doing this, like, dang, that's pretty fun, right? Like, you just karaoke the crap out of that. But a professional Elvis impersonator doing this performance kind of feels like, that's, that was fine, I guess. Right?
Yeah. I thought it was pretty. I like the set. I like the production, the set that they did, because they did 2 levels of like a jailhouse with the bars and jail cells and all of that. He had a couple of backup dancers and singers, which I think Pierce didn't like, but I thought it was fine to kind of have a backup dancer and singer with him.
Yeah, and I love that Joseph actually sings too.
Yes, he does. He's not Boy Brittany or.
Yeah, he's got the swagger, he's got the look, he's got the Elvis mannerisms. It's overall really pretty entertaining. Pierce said all the guys are saying boo, all the girls are going crazy. Before the show, I thought you were a shoo-in favorite, but tonight the singing was a little wobbly, and you aren't the free spirit you were the first time. Kind of getting into that tap and dance syndrome that I mentioned. Sharon says the more practice you put in, the easier it gets to sing and dance at the same time. I think you've lost some of the naughtiness you had last time. And Hoff said singing and dancing is hard. I would know. Since the first time you blew me away, I want to see that again. You're halfway there. So Hoff, after stroking his own ego a little bit, says not as good as the first performance, but there's something there. You could get there.
Right. Yep. And there's lots of Elvis material.
Yeah.
We're not slacking on Elvis material. as
There's
long as
plenty.
as long as you stay young Elvis and don't go old Elvis.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things that we talked about is that we love about Joseph is that it's
Yeah.
young, before he's a caricature of himself, Elvis, right? He's,
Right.
young rock and roll Elvis, not
Yep.
old fat Elvis. So
Right.
there you go. That's the 10 acts of the night. Dare I ask your top? Give me your top 3 and your bottom 3. Let's go there. Let's do it.
Bottom 3, Shakita, I think is in the bottom 3.
Okay.
Texas State Shredders is in the bottom 3, and probably Michael Stroller Smith. Those are my bottom 3.
Wow. All right. My bottom
you disagree?
3. Well, there was a lot of bad.
There was a lot of bad. Yeah.
Shakita has got to be bottom 3. That was screechy and not great. Sarah Lenore, I'm going to put in the bottom 3.
Okay.
Not because it was bad. It just wasn't. It just wasn't. And
sometimes being middle of the pack is just as bad as being bad.
yeah, there's a verse about being lukewarm and spitting you out of my mouth. Like it was just fine. Not it just was.
Sarah Lenore was the middle child of this show, right?
Yeah, just completely forgettable. So what do I got? Shakita and Sarah Lenore and I guess Michael Strello Smith, the one man Zane and Stephanie. I'll give him the other bottom 3 spot. So tell me your top 3 then.
I guess it has to be like Tauble family, Joseph Hall, and probably Six Step.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it's not a great episode. I mean,
it's not a great episode. Yeah,
yeah.
I think Jonathan Birkin would probably be in my top 3.
Yeah. I forget about him because I didn't have any notes. Yeah, I could
watch him.
I could put Jonathan Birkin in there. Yeah, I could do that.
All right. Jonathan Birkin, Bruce Block, not terrible, not his best performance. Tauble family, not as bad as I was afraid they were going to be. Right? Like we said, it's not a great episode. Joseph Hall. Boy, do I go Joseph Hall, Matthew Piazzi, and Jonathan Birkin as my top 3? I might do that. There you go. That's my top 3. So
okay,
we will see results in a week's time, Cody.
Yes.
Is there anything else we need to talk about before we wrap this one up?
I don't think so. So we'll be back next week for Live Show 4 and the results for Live Show 3, and then that will wrap up the quarterfinals.
Okay. And then we move on to semis, and then is it just one finals, or is it lots of like...
I think there's lots of nonsense that goes on.
A top 12 and a top 10 and a top
Something
6 and a...
Yeah. Let me look at the wiki real quick while I'm looking that up. So, yeah, we'll be back next week for Live Show 4. And then Commenter and I will be back again to do another rewatchable. And so that'll be on the... we'll record that on the 20th. And we'll have a guest that night to do the rewatchable for it. I'll fill that in next week of who that guest is going to be. So this was AGT season 3. So we're really excited about that. It's someone we've had on before, so it's someone y'all are familiar with. So I typed in AGT season 3, and the result I got was Asia's Got Talent season 3.
Oh my! Well, I've got what looks like a quarterfinals, 4 weeks of quarterfinals, semifinals, week 1 and week 2, and then there's a finals top 10 and a finals grand final.
Yes, which I think we had last season as well.
A top 5.
Yeah.
So we're going to narrow it down from 10 to 5, and then those top 5 have to perform one more time, I guess. So it's coming down to it. I'm excited to see results from this one. Not necessarily because I think there's great stuff going through, but You got to narrow it down somehow.
Yep. So who do we get next week? We get Dallas Desperado Dancers, Brian Cheatham, Flambeau. I will make notes on Flambeau, Jay.
Okay.
Your favorite, Caitlin Mayer. Mayer? Caitlin Mayer.
I do love Caitlin Mayer.
DeRay Saunders. Donald
She's
Braswell
Turner,
II.
Tina Turner, yep.
Yep. Indigo, the Tapping Dads are back.
Yep.
Eli Matson and Nothing But Strings.
Okay. It's coming down to some really interesting stuff here.
Yep.
I'm excited to talk about some of these acts quite a bit, actually. I think this will be a much better episode next week.
Yeah, and this will be more interesting. The acts seem more interesting. We've got lots of opinions on some of these acts that we've talked about before. One act in particular, we literally just talked about the same type of act a few minutes ago. So we'll kind of just rehash that.
Yes. Yeah. So good stuff coming up next week. We'll hash it all out just like we do, and then moving on to the semifinals.
Yep. So just as a reminder, you can reach out to us. We'd love to hear your comments, questions, whatever on what we're talking about. So send those in Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, AGT Time Pod, email agttimepod@gmail.com, and our website, agttime.com. So check us out. Anything else, Jay?
No. I will again, man. I can check the current weather. It's got to be very near sub-zero at this moment here, where I am, and I will remind you all to stay safe and thank you.
It's getting chilly here. We've got. I know it's not like it is in Iowa, but we're getting some snow flurries here in our area. I think the high tomorrow is going to be 20 or so. So it's balmy for Iowa this time of year.
Currently 0 with a feels like of -22.
There you go. So yes, everyone, please. It's there's cold weather coming through. So please, as Jay says, stay safe. Have a great night.
Thanks. Bye.